touchdown celebration literally shows and proves that Rob Gronkowski isn't a human being. Whatever that was is a robot.
He defaulted to his robot mode. He kind of I don't know, faulted out for a second and just had a faulty thing happen. And he's like, oh shit, I pretend to be human again.
It was a seizure.
A robot.
Here it is. They're showing it on NBC right now. He laughs at the guy, goes, ah! Freaks out, has a mini stroke. I don't.
Look at that. He seized out a robot style. And then he's like, oh fuck, human again.
What a game though. I mean, that game was just intense. Let's get to that one, but for now, let's get loaded. Welcome to the Loaded Box Podcast.
But we never finished first because we finished last.
Thank you once again for tuning in to the Loaded Box Podcast. I am Ben, that is DJ, and this is the Week 15 Instant Reactions episode. We just talked about Rob Gronkowski not being human. DJ's gonna have to probably vent. Are you gonna shed a tear when we talk about the Packers today?
Right. Also known as episode Grammar 101, aka Grammar 101 episode.
Oh, did you prep anything? We were supposed to give a crash course, weren't we?
No, I didn't. I just thought about it as we kind of intro here.
Hopefully something comes up along the way that we can figure out along here. But
yeah,
we are going to set a record in this episode for shortest time we ever talk about a Thursday night football game.
Yeah.
Because the Denver Broncos beat the Indianapolis Colts 25-13, and my single syllable instant reaction is finally Thursday night football is done for the regular season. Finally.
My single syllable, which is actually a number, is 100. Our 100th episode was way better than this game. A lot more interesting, so I hope you listen to us instead of watch that game, because I don't even think I don't remember watching it, or either if I did, I just blacked it out, so.
You broke a promise to the listeners because you were going to go for 3 straight weeks of Thirsty Thursday. You should have been drinking instead of watching
I tried to think of that, but I wanted to talk about our 100th episode.
Good deal. Well, let's move on to Saturday, because Saturday was a lot better than Thursday. Saturday, The Lions beat the Bears 20-10. What's your single syllable instant reaction?
Mine is unimpressive. There's no chance to me at this point now that the Lions make the playoffs. I just don't think they look good enough. They just don't look like a playoff team to me. Which in the NFC, it's I should say if it was the AFC, that wouldn't be saying much because the playoff teams are shitty. NFC, the teams are it's much more competitive. But with Carolina and Atlanta, it seems like there's going to be 3 teams out of the AFC or the NFC South. It's going to be ridiculous.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, and I don't remember what my instant reaction was, but it was something about 3, and I said 3 teams from the South have a good chance, and you thought 2, but now you're back on the board with 3?
Yeah, they're locked in. Well, I thought it was going to be the Packers, which I thought they were to win today, but now it's Carolina and Atlanta locked in.
If Atlanta wins tomorrow, the Packers are eliminated, correct?
Yep, correct.
So you've got the Saints, who obviously won again today. They look good. Carolina takes care of the Packers were still a good team. Take care of them. And Atlanta, I don't want to say that Tampa Bay win is a lock, but geez, that kind of seems like the next sure thing. So, yeah, 3's probably good. My instant reaction here is championship matchup. I'm looking ahead to next week, and I'm looking at the skill players for the Lions. They're playing at Cincinnati, who kind of looks like they've mailed it in.
Yep.
If these guys are on my fantasy lineup and it's championship week, I am comfortable starting Matt Stafford against that defense. I am comfortable starting Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. I am sitting, though, both Amir Abdullah and Theo Riddick. If I have other capable options, I don't really have faith in either of those guys right now.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. I expected, I don't know, Abdullah didn't seem to be playing much. They just don't have enough commitment for offensive line to run the ball to make that a consistent threat. Right. But like I said, I'm not comfortable with the Lions at all. I just don't think Stafford looks totally 100% there either. So But the Bengals have mailed it in, so
Yeah.
probably something you can try to exploit this next week.
Yeah, we saw Keenum just literally
Well,
torch that
the only thing
defense.
I would be worried about is like somebody, like everybody on Cincinnati is going to try to kill everybody in Detroit because like they already don't give a fuck on defense half the time. They just try to kill people. What does it look like when they're like? It just doesn't matter. Are they just going to like rip guys' heads off?
Maybe, I don't know though. I just
Like somebody is going to get grabbed by a Facebook mask and just like pile drive around the Lions.
maybe that defense. I mean, they can be undisciplined at times, but it's like
Yeah.
Pac-Man's out for the year. Burfict probably won't be anywhere near the field. So I don't know. You've kind of run out of the likely candidates for that
You know what's going to happen?
behavior.
It's going to be like that scene in Anchorman where they all have all those weapons and they just go to fight.
They just
That's
fight.
what the Bengals are going to do.
Well, it'd be wise for the Lions to stay clear of that if they want to have any
Yeah.
choice here.
Probably.
Let's go to the second game on Saturday. The Chiefs thumping the Chargers 30-13. What do you got?
I got a roller coaster. A roller coaster because Chiefs are maybe the most confusing fucking team I have ever seen in my entire life.
So,
Like, I don't
roller
know where
coasters
they
are confusing then.
What?
Roller coasters are confusing?
Well, they're just up and down. They're just up and then they're down. And they're up and they're down. They're all over the place. You don't know where they're going to be. They're upside down. They're right side up. I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs did win this game and the podcast, but I said they were heating up. I think that the Chargers were maybe your pick in the pick against the spread this last week.
They were.
And I didn't like that because I was like, Chiefs are getting hot. They're getting confident. They started to look better. It's just like they look like the best team for like 4 weeks in the NFL. Like everybody's like, this is the best team. And then they look like the fucking worst team in the NFL. And now they look like incredible again. And it seems like that's going with, like, they're going how Kareem Hunt goes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, right?
Well, yeah.
Kareem Hunt dominated. They dominated. Kareem Hunt did nothing for like 6 weeks. They did nothing. And now Kareem Hunt's putting up numbers again. Another dominating again.
It's ridiculous. When they have that balance, Alex Smith looks like the MVP. When they
Yeah.
don't have that balance, Alex Smith looks like he should be replaced by Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. No shit. It's really
Literally,
crazy.
you nailed it on the head. It comes down to the success of Kareem Hunt, and then that defense
Wow.
is going to play better with a lead, obviously, like most defenses.
Yeah.
Mine is shifting blame. I love me some Phillip Rivers, but
Doesn't everybody?
I've never seen him own up to a single interception. Every single one of his 166 career interception has been someone else's fault. He's basically like LeBron James complaining about calls on like a missed basket near the hoop. It's always someone else's fault. That one time he threw the ball downfield and I don't even know which receiver he was yelling at, but he was just freaking out, and that ball was going to get thrown off or picked off no matter who he was throwing it to. So I just kind of wish that he would do something about that, but it's too late in the game now to be changing the way he is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Philip Rivers. Like whatever, it is what it is for him.
I mean, like I said, I love the guy. I love the fire. I want him as my franchise quarterback, but God, it's just kind of annoying. Let's go to the Eagles, the first game without Carson Wentz. Hold on to beat the Giants 34-29. What do you got?
I say championship, and this is referring to your fantasy football championship game. If you had Wentz, he got injured, and you were able to go and pick up Foles,
Yeah.
Big Dick Nick, as people have been calling him.
That's a thing?
What?
That's a thing?
Yeah, he's got a huge dick.
I learned today that he has very wealthy parents. They were in the
Yeah.
restaurant business.
Apparently, he has a huge dick too.
Wow, I knew about his parents. I don't know about his undercarriage.
No, it's a real thing.
All right.
Apparently, you are thinking your lucky stars that you got him. You got 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's
And
huge.
if I'm you, I'm riding him right. They got so many weapons. I'm riding him right into the championship game against the Raiders next week. That's a great matchup. Play
Yeah.
him again.
No one would have expected him to come in and throw 4 touchdowns. And like you said, you had to be like, you're probably starting, even though you might have picked up Foles, like you're probably like, oh, I kind of want to give it a week. So yeah, if you went in with it, wow, that was a hell of a play. My instant
Antonio
reaction.
Brown has partially torn calf muscle.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Because I heard there was like no breaks, but there was a potential that it would still need surgery. And if it needed surgery, he'd be out.
Next week against Houston.
All right, cool.
He's expected for postseason.
We will get to that one then. He is expected to play?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all speculation at this point, but that's the latest rumor we have as of whatever time it is on Sunday. My instant reaction is defense. If Philly has any chance of surviving this Wentz injury, because I don't think Foles is going to have this kind of success every single week, The defense is going to have to play much better. They allowed 3 touchdowns and 434 passing yards to Eli and a struggling offense, and 2 of his touchdowns were over 50 yards. You can't be giving up those kind of big plays. You need to, you got to kind of stay on the field too. Like make the opposing team's offense work for it and just eat a little bit of that clock up. You can't be having Nick Foles continue to just come out there and just rely on the offense so much. I agree the offense looked better than I thought it did, but that game came down to the defense. I could have never imagined the Giants scoring 29 points in this game.
Wasn't a Jay Ajayi week. I mean, he got 12 carries, still wasn't his week yet.
No, I think, yeah, he did okay. He didn't live up to my hype.
12 for 49.
I apologize.
Everybody was like, is this the Jay Ajayi week?
I was.
So was somebody of ours, too.
Well, let's move on to the most depressing part of the podcast for you. Green Bay Packers fall to the Carolina Panthers. 31-24, basically ending the season. What do you have?
Depressed.
I love the tone of voice there.
It's just depression. That's all I can say. Like, I don't want to give it diagnosis. Rodgers probably doesn't play next week. He shouldn't.
Yeah, they were just debating that as well, and I'm on the same side of you. Even if Atlanta were to lose tomorrow to Tampa Bay, like what all would need to happen for the Packers yet to make the playoffs, yeah, I'm probably sitting Rodgers as well.
There's so many things I could vent about. Rodgers played not good. Okay, he threw 3 interceptions, put their defense in a bad place. Defense played pretty well considering those issues.
Right.
But then you thought that miracle was going to happen. Aaron Rodgers' miracle, they're going to cover the outside kick. It's all but like done, even with the 5 days. Like you almost guarantee a touchdown there. And I don't even know what a catch is an incompletion because in all the other games I've seen, that was an incompletion. The guy hadn't even pulled the ball into his Geronimo, hadn't even pulled the ball into his body yet. I don't know. I'm just going to go off. But Rodgers also threw the ball 45 fucking times.
Yeah, that's too much.
First game back, Aaron Jones had 2 carries at one point for 53 yards.
Right.
And he only touched the ball 3 times.
Yep.
I've been saying that this guy's the better running back. They only carried the ball 19 times, and Jones looked good. He should have been in there carrying the ball a lot more.
And I think Rodgers had 6 of those carries.
It was awful. Yeah, Rodgers did have 6 of those carries.
That's ballsy coming back from collarbone surgery.
I was so frustrated. So it didn't make any sense. Aaron Jones looked like the guy that game. He looked like he had the hot hand. His runs were just, it was frustrating.
Well, my instant reaction is new quarterback, new game. And this is going to end up leading into championship weekend for your fantasy matchups. And I want to ask you, as our in-house Packers guru, is either Jamal Williams or Aaron Jones worth using in championship games? Next week, they have a tough one versus the Vikings. Like you said, Jones ended with 3 carries. I believe it was 47 yards. Jamal Williams, 10 carries, 30 yards. And neither one were really involved in the pass game. I think they combined for 1 catch.
Yeah. No, because like you said, it's against Minnesota. They're fighting for that home field advantage. Jamal Williams he just doesn't have it. Like, he runs straight up the middle. If it's not there, it's not there. And obviously there's I honestly think maybe there's just a plan for Aaron Jones going forward to just save him. Like, he's going to be the starting halfback next year. He's just coming off an MCL sprain. He's not 100% healthy, so not push him. And that's the deal here. So I'm not using Aaron Jones because it seems like a keep him healthy. He's still a rookie, future star running back situation where they're just going to run Jamal Williams, but I don't think he's going to have any success against the Minnesota defense because that's the kind of defense you can't just run straight to where the play is designed and not have any vision on. So I wouldn't use either one of them.
Right. I had an eye on this game for the majority of the day, but I was surprised when I looked at the box score and saw that Jamal Williams didn't have a single catch. I know that a couple of the catches that he had.
Aaron Jones is the better pass catching back. I can't believe that fucking guy. That was argued.
Well, the last couple of weeks when Jones was out, though, I mean, Jamal had that one that was wide open that anyone could have caught.
Do you watch how he catches the ball, though?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like he's fighting
he always
it.
catches it with his chest. He, like, hugs the ball. It's not a real catching.
No, and but I was just surprised. I mean, because he had that long one against the Steelers as well. So it's like, well, I don't know, let's move on because my team also basically eliminated themselves in the playoffs today. The Bills beat the Dolphins 24-16. What do you have?
My single syllable here is the reaction is bad decisions. And this comment is just aimed straight at the Bills coaching staff. and this just goes back a few weeks. Benching Tyrod Taylor earlier was the dumbest idea, and they're just lucky he is nice enough to keep you in playoff contention, because that's what he's doing.
Yeah, we
He
suggested
played
that he
really
comes in
well.
and just takes a knee the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I said that's my next note. If I were him, I'd be kneeling or throwing things fucking constantly and telling them to just suck my dick, because he deserves to go somewhere else better next year. I don't want him in Buffalo. Wherever he goes, I'm going to cheer for him. I hope it's somewhere. I don't care. I don't care where he goes, as long as it's not Buffalo, where he can find somewhere that's loyal. Like, I can't believe they're in the playoff, like the sixth spot in the playoffs right now, the last wild card spot, because they tried to eliminate themselves.
Right. I just had to laugh while watching that game because there was so many times where like Cam Waker and Ndamukong Suh literally had him wrapped up and he got out of it and found a guy downfield. I'm like, they benched this guy for Nathan Peterman at one point. They were literally ready to tank the year. And then just the fact that Peterman got hurt and sucked, it's like, okay, we have to go back to him. But yeah,
5
man,
interceptions in debt.
I can't believe that they've ever benched him. I mean,
I know.
like we said, there's no guarantee that they would have beat the Chargers in that game that Peterman played, but they'd be in such a better position right now if he would have played and they would have won. Yeah. Mine is imposter because I'm almost 100% sure that someone else was wearing Jay Cutler's jersey last week against the Patriots. Because today he comes back and he throws 3 interceptions. He fumbled the ball 4 times. All of them were recovered, but just
I fucking love Jay Cutler.
just hilarious to watch.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, just funny to watch.
Oh my god, he fumbled the ball how many times?
4.
That is amazing. Oh my god, that just gives me
I'm glad I could break this news to you.
I was so like intent on the Packers game, I didn't even know. Fumbled the ball 4 times. That's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, it was fantastic. At one point, I wanted to give him credit. Like he forced a fumble, like he went to like throw it and he patted it and he knocked the ball out of his own hand. He literally should be in the defensive.
I can't even.
He should be in the defensive.
Podcast,
He should be in the defensive box score for a forced fumble. That's all I can say. I don't even want to go on to my next point. I'm moving on. You've put me into too much depression.
I'm gonna throw up right now because I'm laughing so hard.
Anyway, Ravens 24, Browns 10. I think I'm gonna have to go because you're dying over here.
Oh my god.
My instant reaction to this Ravens-Browns game, because those teams are almost the same thing if you think about it, is punch me. And I would like you to punch me straight in the face if I ever make.
Every time I do that, you punch me back.
That is true. But I would prefer that, and I won't punch you back this time. If you punch me straight in the face, if I ever make a bold prediction that the Browns will win a game again for the rest of my life.
Yeah, well, I bet on them, so.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
It looked good for like 15 seconds.
Oh yeah, when it was 14-7 and I had a 7.5 point spread, I said, "End this fucker right now."
Yeah, I don't know. The Ravens defense isn't.
In the end zone, goddamn.
Yeah, the Ravens defense isn't as bad as what they showed against Pittsburgh, obviously, but it's so hard to tell because the Browns are the Browns. What do you have here?
I said playoffs, and I know I've used that one before, but there's no chance that your championship game team has any players from either of these teams on them. They stink. If they do, they're definitely not playing.
The only thing that I could think of, if you had like the Ravens defense right now.
Or Alex
Collins, yeah, in deeper league too.
Picked him up like later in the season.
All right. Well, let's move forward. Vikings 34, Bengals 7. What do you have here?
I'm saying Sharpie here. Vikings clinched the NFC North. Only because Anthony Barr's cheap ass shot, and I can't wait for him to lose by 100 in the playoffs. I'm bitter.
Oh man, Case Keenum looked good again today.
Yeah, I don't care.
Case Keenum looked really good. They were everything. They were able to just be like super well balanced. Murray was fine. McKinnon was fine. Like the defense was obviously good. Teddy Bridgewater got in. He threw an interception, but he got in. That was kind of cool to see.
That was amazing.
My instant reaction here is welcomed change. Because they announced Sunday morning that Marvin Lewis probably won't be the Bengals coach next season.
It just won't be.
Yeah, well, if it's not official, I won't say it as it's totally official. But I don't remember if it was a week or 2 ago. I said this team needs a bunch of change because they are literally the same single team every year for like the last 7 years. and now they're starting with the coach. You need to go and you need to see what options you're going to have at quarterback at next year, whether it's free agency or the draft, and you need to blow this puppy up. Like that's all I can say about the Bengals. They're totally tanked. Nice,
Yep.
nice bounce back win for the Vikings. You took care of business, but I don't even know how much you can put into this because the Bengals were ridiculously bad. Let's move on to the Redskins beating the Cardinals 20-15. I have absolutely nothing for this game, so we're going to go to a fan favorite game called Random
Yes. Here we
Trivia.
go.
Are you excited for this?
Yeah, it's my favorite fucking part of the Sundays.
All right. Here we go. Random trivia question. Has nothing to do with the Redskins and the Cardinals. I'll tell you that right now. The answer is
Yep.
not one of those players. Who is the only left-handed quarterback in the NFL Hall of Fame?
It feels like only one person pops in my head. Fuck. He has to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm trying to think if there's an older guy I'm not thinking of.
You've got 7 seconds.
It's got to be Steve Young.
Ding, ding, ding. Nice job.
Right?
You got it. He's the only
Good
lefty in the entire Hall of Fame. How cool is that?
Right? I thought maybe there was somebody back in the day that I wasn't thinking of. Steve Young somehow hadn't been in there yet, but it had to be.
No, there was back in the day they didn't even allow lefties to play quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. Why is that guy throwing left here?
Nice. You've been pretty good at random trivia. I'm not gonna lie. You've been pretty good at that one.
Thank you.
Do you have anything for that game? Next? Good.
Yep.
Your Jaguars, your Blake Bortles, 45 over the lonely Texans, 7. And I will say, oh my God, DeAndre Hopkins was responsible for that touchdown. This mother
Yes, he
effer
was.
is a machine. But what do you have for this as your instant reaction?
My single syllable instant reaction: NBA Jam. Blake Bortles is heating up.
He's
and
heating up.
I think he may actually be on fire
Ooh.
at this point. Like if he actually plays like this with that defense, they can be a real Super Bowl threat. And I cannot believe I'm saying that.
Wait. I think my heart just stopped. What did you say?
Yeah, real Super Bowl threat, and I can't believe I'm saying it. I said it again. I just said it twice.
Oh my gosh.
It came out of my mouth. This is what I thought that Blake Bortles was going to play like after his rookie year. Like, this is what I expected out of him. Like, he looked confident, he looked good when he started. I was like, this guy's going to be a real good quarterback. It's like he has it. And I feel like he, knew that the whole team, coaching staff, Coughlin, all those guys had no confidence coming in. I listened to him on Pardon My Take. He even, before the year started, he was like, oh, yeah. He was hesitant about being the starting quarterback this season. And he played like he was hesitant about being the starting quarterback. And now that they've won a bunch of games, it seems like he's starting to finally, loosen up. And he's playing amazing right now. Because their running game just isn't there. And he's tearing it up.
I have such, negative feelings towards Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars that I can't say that they're good. I don't know what they really are because I have my blinders up. I have this perceived vision of who they are and I can't get past that. And it really hinders my ability to analyze this team.
Well, they have so many wide receivers that just keep coming out of nowhere. Who the fuck is this Mickens guy?
Yeah, you stole my one-liner.
Sorry.
No, totally fine. I think there's something about that, though. I mean, if you're a quarterback in the National Football League playing with shaky confidence, you're already lost. You can't have shaky confidence. Like you said, if they're winning and if he's playing good, that confidence factor, you don't need to worry about that anymore. It kind of goes the other way, and he's maybe going to play better than what he actually is. So yeah, there's something there. I'm gonna have to pay a little bit more attention to them, obviously, because they're clinched. They're in the playoffs regardless now.
They clinched that butthole.
Jaguars are in the playoffs. What the
And Tennessee
fuck?
lost today. I mean, they suck. We'll get to that.
My instant reaction here is unfulfilled fantasies, and I'm not talking about your bedroom experience.
Yeah.
Leading up to this game, Twitter, fantasy shows, everything was full of people in these fantasy football playoff matchups wondering if they should be playing Chris Ivory, TJ Yeldon. Leonard Fournette's out, you're thinking, okay, these guys have a chance.
Oh, God.
Let's say you didn't see this game and you look at the box score and you see there was 45 points scored. You would think some pretty good things, but instead all hell broke loose. Tommy Bohannon scored twice. Corey Grant scored once. Keelan Cole put up 186 receiving yards and a touchdown.
Ballin'.
And something called Jaden Mickens scored twice. What is a Jaden Mickens?
I have no fucking idea.
I saw this little guy dancing in the end zone, and I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I saw him score once. I'm like, oh, well, that's whatever. Just happens.
Yeah.
Then he scored a second time. I'm like, all right, now this is starting to become a thing. Yeah, scored twice. And then that Bohannon scored twice. They scored like 100 touchdowns.
Yep, they did. Literally, they scored 100 touchdowns today. But so much disappointment from that game, though. I mean, 45 points, and you don't get an Ivory or a Yeldon touchdown. No D.D. Westbrook. No
Dude,
Mercedes Lewis.
Look at this Blake Bortles stat line: 21 of 29, 326 yards, and 3 touchdowns. QBR of 96.1, a rating of 1.40.
MVP.
God,
MVP.
I've got a big boner.
MVP.
What?
That's the fans screaming MVP behind me.
God, he's so good.
Oh my gosh, we can't talk about Blake Bortles
I
anymore.
love him.
Let's move on to the Saints beating the Jets 31-19. What do you have?
Tippy toes.
Nice.
You're my tippy toes. I mean, there had to be some frustrated ass Michael Thomas owners out there. I don't know if you saw this, Ben, but I was watching it with a Michael Thomas owner in a big game in our fantasy league, and he was freaking out. He had 2 touchdowns overturned because he couldn't keep his toes in bounds. And he still ended up with 1 touchdown and 93 yards. But he should have had 3 touchdowns for 150 yards.
Yep.
At least. It was unbelievable. My buddy was over here just screaming at the TV. You still got a good game if you're an owner, but it's like if you were facing, imagine if you were facing like a Kamara or a Kareem Hunt,
who ended up with the touchdown.
One of those touchdowns that he was just missed. So that's tough.
Yeah, thanks for describing me, because I actually in my semis have Drew Brees, saw those touchdowns get taken away, and the person I'm going against had Kamara, who took one of them. So yeah, good times. My instant reaction is free falling, and that's in regards to Robbie Anderson, because his stock is way down with Bryce Petty. Petty, hence the free falling reference there. Over the last 2 weeks, when Anderson's had to play with Bryce Petty, a combined 8 catches, 67 yards, no touchdowns. After 5 weeks in a row scoring touchdowns, and I think he had 2 in 1 week, so 6 touchdowns in 5 weeks. I want to ask you.
Still better than D.D. Westbrook.
Probably, but if Petty's quarterback next week, is Robbie Anderson a must-sit against the Chargers defense?
I mean, he might be a sit versus the Chargers defense anyways, with how good Casey Hayward is. But, I mean, I guess it depends on your options. It's always tough to just say that, because the way he's been playing, he can be a guy that carried you to this point, and he's like the one guy you have, you kind of have to play him.
That's the thing, though. It's like someone carries you that far, and you almost become like, well, I have to use him. But I don't know if he's that kind of guy, though, right now.
If they lose somebody, I'm still like going down with that trade if they got there. I'm loyal to a guy who doesn't give a shit about me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, think about Jordy Nelson. Like, he was baller fantasy with Aaron Rodgers. He goes down. You wouldn't have wanted to play him ever without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but he sucked for like 55 weeks.
Touchdown machine, though.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the Rams thrashing of the Seahawks, 42-7. What do you have?
Mine, one single syllable is "told you so." Fucking Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offensive line and this defense, they're just a joke. They are not making the playoffs. Like, there's no fucking chance. Like I said already, I think Carolina, Atlanta got it locked in. But I say this over and over again every year. They like regress more and more every year. It's Super Bowl loss, NFC Championship loss, wild card. Now they're out of the playoffs. They're not even going to exist next year, honestly.
There's nothing better, though, than watching.
I hate those guys. I hate the Seahawks. Like, I hate them with a passion. They're just a bunch of bitches. All they can do is fight.
I feel like we just recorded this from last week. You love saying that.
It's just so frustrating every time.
But there's nothing better than watching the Seahawks if you want to see a quarterback literally just run for his life. He's like a little kid running from bullies.
God, that's all he does.
It's hilarious.
Runs around like an idiot. Like, did you see that?
It's all he can do.
One time he threw the ball backwards?
Yes. Forgot about that.
He had no idea where he started. He was going to spun around. He just threw it backwards. He had 23-yard loss.
He probably thought he was forward because he spun around so many times he was dizzy.
I don't know who's funnier, him or Jay Cutler.
Oh, don't go there. My instant reaction is Week 15 fantasy football MVP because Todd Gurley's out here winning fantasy football semifinal matchups basically on his own.
Yeah.
21 carries, 152 yards, 3 touchdowns, added an additional 28 yards through the air and a touchdown. He's at Tennessee next week. He's obviously not going to repeat those numbers. But man, has he been a steal in fantasy this year or what? Especially based on his ADP, which was a little lower because he was coming off a pretty rough year. And you had the Rams, who no one really were giving them a chance. No one thought that offense was going to be this good. Or that team would even be this good. So, man, if you put your faith in Todd Gurley, good to you. Anything you'd like to add to that? Okay, we will move forward then. Let's go on to the Titans and the 49ers.
Hey.
Are you back?
Oh yeah.
All right, good. We moved on to the Titans and the 49ers.
All
The
right, let's do it.
49ers win 25-23. My instant reaction here is 5. 5, which is on the NFL route tree as an out route, because if Tennessee somehow makes the playoffs, they'll be a quick out.
There you go.
Of their last, I think it's either 5 or 6 wins, the only ones that have been by 4 or more points were against the Colts and Texans, who are on their 18th string quarterbacks. So, no faith in them. Good to the Niners for putting a couple nice wins here together and good performances with Garoppolo. But, man, if you're the Titans, if you're in this position, I feel like we say it every week, you need to step up. And now they've lost back-to-back to the Cardinals and the 49ers.
Mine is done. As in, I'm done with Mariota.
Yeah.
Said I'd be done. I'm done now.
Oh, man.
Done.
They put that stat up today about his rookie numbers, which are okay. The second year, his interceptions actually dropped and his touchdowns went up by 9 or 10. And now this year he's back to worse than his rookie year. Super
It's just
depressing.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, let's go on to literally the game of the day. Patriots somehow hold on for a 27-24 victory. Crazy finish. What do you have for this one? Oh, I will go then. Oh, wait, are you
What?
there?
Oh, did you lose me?
Yep, go ahead with what you have. I got you back.
Oh, like I say in preview. Preview is my single syllable. As what I was saying, could this be a preview for the AFC Championship game? Like the cliche thing everybody's gonna say. Oh, I hope not. I want to see the Pats lose way before then.
You want to see the
So,
Pats lose
I'm
before
hoping
then?
that's not a preview. What?
You want to see the Patriots lose before then?
Yeah, I just don't want to see them win.
So you want to see the Jaguars in the AFC
I'd like to see
Championship
the
game?
Jaguars and the Steelers in the AFC Championship game.
Ooh, that's rough.
That's what I'd prefer.
All right, so you were saying, before I do mine, you were saying that Antonio Brown's probably missing this time, but he may be back for the playoffs.
They said, yeah, should be back for the playoffs, I guess.
So that's the update that we have for now. So that's the assumption that will go on. But my instant reaction is still going to remain as panic. Because let's say that Brown isn't, I was going to say he's done for the playoffs. So let's just say he's not 100%. Does that leave Jacksonville as the biggest threat in the AFC?
Correct.
Okay.
They might be the biggest threat in the AFC
Well,
already.
see, and I think one of the biggest thing was, so even if Pittsburgh would have won that game, New England spent the entire week game planning as if they were playing for Antonio Brown. If he's out, that's a whole different team that you're game planning for.
Yeah.
And other than Jacksonville, the only real threat in the AFC right now kind of looks like Kansas City, and we don't know what the hell to
We don't
think
know
about
what
them.
they're going to be.
We have no idea. Well, let's spin this into fantasy real quick with Antonio Brown. So let's say that you survived your semifinals and you have Antonio Brown, and he's not going to play next week in your championship game.
You cry.
You cry. Let's say that your other options are just kind of weak, and you might have to make a pick, because I know that it always depends on who else you have. But would you look at, you got Eli Rogers at Houston, you've got a guy that we just learned today, you've got Jaden Mickens of the Jaguars at the 49ers, you got Travis Benjamin at the Jets, you've got Cody Latimer at the Redskins. These are just a couple of guys I noticed that might still be available on waivers. There's really not much out there at this point. I'm looking at probably like a 12-team league here, pretty standard. It's going to be tough. So hopefully you have someone in-house, but of those options, which one would you be more likely to go with?
I think I'm going with the guy that's on the same team. If I have to, I'd go Eli Rogers.
Rodgers.
Like, if one of those guys is out there, I'm sure Martavis Bryant. I don't know. Maybe Martavis Bryant is still out on the waiver wire, so maybe I'd go after him. He's potential out there because people just dropped him and didn't care because he didn't really do anything after he came back. He's a potential guy I'd be going after, too. I'd probably stick with somebody on Pittsburgh to fill that void.
And he did score once AB went out.
Yep,
so he probably it's probably going to be a thin week for waiver wires just because there's only 2 teams really left and all your good players are pretty much picked up. I kind of had a slight lean towards Travis Benjamin here at the Jets, so you might have to worry about weather. That'd be one reason not to go with him. Whereas you have Eli Rogers at Houston, you don't need to worry about weather whatsoever.
Yep. Let's go.
So I do like that. Let's do some quick. Well, actually, I had a listener question for about 2 to 3 weeks, so I apologize to whoever asked me this, but it's still relevant today. So let's say that you're in a playoff fantasy football matchup, and you're debating between 2 players. Are you more likely to use the safer player or the player that may break out?
So where we're at right now, we're going into a championship game, and this goes back to what I was saying about like sticking with a guy like Robbie Anderson like that. My personal preference is I'm going to play, especially in those big of games, I'm going to take the higher floor, and the higher floor is probably the safer player. I'm not going to just risk it all on a guy who may or may not have a big week, but I don't know, like Goodwin or something like that. I'm going safer player because he's a guy that's probably been in my lineup in my lineup a majority of the season. So I'm sticking with that guy that can give me some decent numbers. Like you want 8 to 12 points for sure out of a guy.
Yeah,
that's the consistency you're getting. You're playing with that guy.
The thing I would look at that wasn't really included in this question was I would probably look at the matchups of my opponent and just try to kind of base it off that. Like, am I favored to lose? Do I like his matchups more? And if I like that guy's matchups more and I think I might need to make a boom play, then I'm going to take the potential boom play. Whereas if he has like a quarterback going up against the Vikings defense or the Jaguars defense, and he's got a running back that either doesn't get a bunch of carries or has been cold lately, then maybe I'd play your safe guy. But I think it might depend more on my opponent than my own matchups at that point. So I'm sorry for the delay on that, but it's still relevant today, so you're welcome. Predictions, thoughts, Sunday night game. We've got Dallas and Oakland right now. There's 10 minutes left in the first quarter.
I say, and this is a really bold prediction that probably won't come true. Derek Carr, I'm going to keep riding this train. Derek Carr throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
As he almost throws an interception in real time. My bold prediction is Dallas wins, covers the 3-point spread. It's my second against the spread pick of the week. And I think I'm going to be 1-1 after this, and then I'm going to have a chance on Monday night to go 2-1. That's all we have for today. As always, tweet any questions you'd like answered on the podcast at Loaded Box. Tune in midweek for our next episode. We will preview Week 16 and the Fantasy Football Championship weekend. We're available on iTunes by searching Loaded Box. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. Anything else? Otherwise, you can send us out.
Jay Cutler had 3 picks and 4 fumbles.
Good night now.